Hollywood or Washington, it's hard to tell in which town you need a thicker skin. Public scrutiny is relentless, and the critics will always make their voices heard. But actress Cheryl Hines is no stranger to the attention. From a hit comedy show to the political stage next to husband RFK Jr., she's made a transition few have dared to try. And it wasn't without some personal fallout, which she explained in our candid conversation. Cheryl Hines, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you, Laura. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm so interested in your backstory because you grew up in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yes.
You made the move out to Los Angeles.
Yes.
And then you worked as a bartender, which a lot of us did. I did as well.
Yes.
And kind of hustled along until you got the call one day that really ultimately changed your life for Curb Your Enthusiasm. So do you remember that moment, getting that call? And did you know at that time that this was about to be like the big move for you?
I do remember getting the call because I was so excited, but at the same time, it was just a 1 hour special. A 1 hour special doesn't, for an actor who is unknown, it's not really gonna change your life that much. But when I got the call from Larry to say, it is going to be a series and I want you to play my wife, I said, oh my gosh, that's the best news I've ever heard. And at that point it was. And it did change my life.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone could have predicted what it would become because it kind of became like a cult phenomenon, right? Like I don't think you even would have known that at the time.
No, because the show, I just wrote this book called Unscripted, and I titled it Unscripted because a lot of my life has been, just working on Curb Your Enthusiasm that had no script. It was all improvised. When you would watch this show, it didn't have the same sort of rhythm as a normal sitcom. There's not an audience telling you this is the funny thing. You're watching it and you're thinking, Larry, please don't say what you're about to say, and he says it. So I didn't know if people would respond to that. I mean, to this day, my mom, it's like, I don't get it.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's like, that's okay. You don't have to get it. It's not for you.
Well, a lot of people got it, and a lot of people loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I know so many people who it became, again, a phenomenon. Hollywood definitely put you in the public eye, but I don't think anything, Cheryl, prepares people to be in the public eye with politics involved. So
no, you would know that better than anyone.
I would know, and I do
and
know.
You do know, yeah.
How's it been for you?
There have been some ups and downs. I think at first it was very challenging. It's hard when it's someone else's decision, and like my husband, RFK Jr., it was his decision to run for president. I mean, he wouldn't have done it without my support. But he felt the calling to run. So it's strange being in a position where somebody else's decision is really somehow changing the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, well, and for you to come out of a space where he originally ran for president as a Democrat, and then that comes to an end, and he says, I'm actually going to support the Republican candidate for president, but not just any Republican candidate, Donald Trump. Did you hear from people? Did you suddenly not hear from people? How did that go for you?
I heard from people. You know what? I was actually grateful for my good friends that had feelings about it, still have feelings about it, but at least would call me and say, I can't believe this is happening. You can't let this happen. I would rather that than somebody who I've known for 30 years just stop talking to me altogether. So I've experienced it all. And then I have some really good friends that, we have thoughtful discussions where it's, you can say, wow, here's something that happened that I didn't like, that still bothers me. And here's something that's happening that I think is good. And they can see both sides, and it's not black and white. So I really appreciate those people.
Yeah.
They're few and far between.
They are. We have those in our life too.
Yes,
and I think it's very refreshing. Did it surprise you though, how quickly things changed.
The night before Bobby said he was going to make the announcement that he was running for president, I just thought that this is going to change everything. I couldn't tell exactly how it would change, but I definitely had a feeling of, okay, nothing will be the same after that announcement.
But the work your husband is doing, I think, is incredible. As our HHS secretary, he's really bringing transparency into a space where I think for so long people felt frustrated, like we weren't getting all the information. And he's taken a lot of hits for doing that, because I think it's imperative for the future of the country, for our health, for our children. As a mom myself, to know that the food I'm giving my kids is making them healthy and not poisoning them,
right?
That's a big deal to people.
I am very proud of the work he's doing. You know, favored nation's pharmaceutical drug prices. The president and Bobby, RFK Jr., have worked very hard to get huge corporations like Pfizer to come forward and say, yes, we are changing the prices of our drugs for Americans because they've been paying a lot more than other countries, and we're going to correct that. That should be everybody in the country. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent. That affects everybody, and that should be a celebration. So it's disappointing when I see people criticizing Bobby so much.
Do you think that if your husband was the HHS secretary under a Democrat president, things would be different for both of you?
Well, that's such a great question, because if the Democrats had embraced him, then of course they wouldn't be so critical. And at the same time, if Bobby wasn't working hand in hand with the president, I don't think he would have been able to accomplish all that he's accomplished so far and all that they want to accomplish together, because they are, as a team, they're really united and very passionate about making these changes. This is a political battle that I'm in the middle of. So I'm okay with it now. You know, for a while, I did not want to be in that position, but I am in that position, and I'm okay with it, so I've had to pivot in that way.
It seems like your whole life has been a bit of a pivot.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of that.
Yes. Which is hard, because you don't know what's on the other side. But to trust that you're going to make it to the other side and you're going to be okay. And I think that's what the book touches on. I mean, for so many years I was working to want that change. I wanted that TV show. I wanted, to have a family. And then some stuff in life for everybody comes at you. And there have been times when I would think, oh, I'd rather not have this change. I'm not ready for it. If you lose someone in your life, or your husband decides to run for president, even though I might not be ready, it's happening. And that's life, right? It's going to happen. So I think it's embrace it and trust that you'll get through it. And if you surround yourself with the right people, you'll thrive.
Well, I hope you're thriving, and thank you for giving up what I know was a very different life that you had for us in this country, because alongside the president, you and your husband are doing great things. So we appreciate it, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.